Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it will achieve. Something like that. Napoleon Hill once said that anyway. And we're talking about principle number 4 in Jack Canfield's success principle today. And it's all about believing it is possible. So many people have set themselves goals and they don't achieve it for one main reason: their beliefs. Their beliefs stop them from working towards a goal. Instead, they work away from the goal. They're firefighting themselves, other people. It's literally like, I wouldn't just call it self-sabotage. It goes deeper than that. In your linguistic programming, you might find yourself having experiences in the everyday and you're deleting, distorting them and changing what the meaning behind them are, so that you're not actually working towards what it is you want. It's almost like you've got this invisible wall that just forces out things and stops you from moving forward. So we have to shift, heal and expand, just like this channel does, in order for you to really believe it's possible. Because with all the conditioning that you've had throughout your life, and experiences that have basically made meanings in your world to decipher if something's good or bad, it stopped you from really achieving and it stopped you from thinking things are possible. What if there was no good and bad? What if it was just an experience? What if everything that you encountered didn't have to mean so much? It just was an experience. It was one-off. It wasn't the status quo. It wasn't a thing. It was just that. It was just one experience. So sometimes what happens is you have an experience and you have a similar experience and another similar experience, and you then decide that that's your truth. And so I wouldn't necessarily disregard your truth, because I don't want to invalidate your feelings and thoughts, which are important. But what I want you to think about is looking at those thoughts, looking at those experiences and seeing the truth within them, and taking away things that aren't actually truthful, but more so are based on emotions that were there to protect you in that circumstance, but doesn't serve you now. Because what got you there, or got you here at this exact moment, will not get you where you want to be. Now you have a goal for your business. You have a specific goal that you are trying to achieve. Now that could be a launch number, fiscal, financial goal, right? And it won't happen if you don't believe it's possible, because it's not even just believing, right? You have to first of all get into the feeling of it's actually happened, and then your thoughts will follow. For anybody that's ever tried to tell somebody how to think, there's been a process that's happened before telling somebody what to do. They've made you feel something, so that when they do finally say, this is my call to action to you, you're more susceptible to doing it. And it's the same thing with your mind. You have to almost nurture your mind, plant the seed, so that whatever grows from it is all about making sure that there's a feeling of it's going to happen, it's possible. And when you actually think about it in I guess the everyday, I want you to see it as you've got a thermometer, and at the moment your belief system is measured by this thermometer, and it's at maybe 2%, really low, right? 2% of the thermometer is actually red. You want to get to 100. And so what you're going to be doing is using shift work to move that forward. So one of the pieces of shift work that I recommend you do right now, today, for the principle number 4, to believe it's possible, is to find a role model. Somebody that's already done it. So that could be Oprah Winfrey, it could be your next door neighbor, it could be anybody, to be honest. Somebody you actually that actually inspires you. Because this is the thing. I don't want you to copy them. I just want you to get inspired by them. I don't want you to feel like I'm not there yet, they're too big and bold and brave. I want you to look at them and say, that's evidence that it's possible. That's all you're taking away from that. When you're looking for that role model, you're saying it's possible. And then your thermometer just goes up. It's increasing your thermometer of possibilities. You're basically getting the brain to find the evidence to say that it is possible, and here's the evidence. Because what you're doing is you're not trying to argue with your mind and its version of the truth. You're basically giving it an alternative and saying it's possible. And the more you do that, the more you rewire, reprogram your normal way of thinking, the more likely you're going to believe it's possible, because you're doing that everyday daily work so that you're in alignment. And that's what I want to encourage you to do today, because it's so important to believe it's possible. Success is really subjective, right? It's based on what we individually want and seek. And so my version of success can look different to yours. But in order for you to actually see your version of success happen, you have to believe it's possible. I can't emphasize that enough. Probably the word believe more times than I've ever in my life before in this video. But I want to just share with you something where even a story. It's okay. I've been in many situations with clients and just with everyday people that aren't my clients, where they've had this innate belief, this inner knowing that it's possible, this inner knowing that it's possible for them, this inner knowing that it's possible, they're worthy of it, everything else in between. And every time they've come up and been triggered by something that's kind of counteracted that version that they're holding of it's possible, they've had to spot it and then choose again. And so it's not necessarily like it's not that you won't get triggered and your thermometer won't go down. It's just noticing that you can actually shift it to go up. And when you notice, you can then say, okay, this isn't serving me, so I'm going to choose again. I'm going to put that thermometer back up to where it was before, and I'm going to increase my possibility system. That's what we're calling it now, so that I can get what I want. I think there's even in this is success principle number 4. Number 5 goes along with something similar. So this is going to be reinforced as well tomorrow. But my point for you is this. When you believe it's possible, you can achieve anything. The mind is an amazing thing. And there's just been so many times when you've probably just been disappointed by the lack of results that you really wanted to see. Perhaps you didn't have the support before. Perhaps you thought that you didn't have to do certain things, or perhaps you was doing more of the doing than less of the being. In order for you to have what you want and to believe it's possible, you have to start being that way, as in feeling that way, acting that way, not faking it till you make it, actually knowing this is who I am, this is what I stand for, these are my values. So before anything else, before you move forward, go back to those other videos, because this is all about believing what's possible, but maybe you need to do the foundational work again, because this piece will completely change the way you are navigating through the world, navigating through your goals, showing up for yourself, being visible or not being visible if you're not necessarily believing in who you are. So that's principle number 4, believe it's possible. Jack Canfield's Success Principles. It's in the playlist if you are going back through this to get more guidance. My details are below if you need more help. Comment below this video. Give it a thumbs up if it's helped you. Let me know what you're believing is possible today in the comments as well. I'd love to hear your thoughts.